So you think your boiler's had it? I'll fetch the 2 bags from the van. If you want the best, don't ask questions, 'cause brother, I'm your man. What it'll cost, well that's a mystery. Until I take off the cover, who knows what I'm gonna see. These are the jobs that driving me berserk. Why do only fools and plumbers work? La 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 la, 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 yeah. Why do only fools and plumbers work?
Yes, yes, yes. Plumbers in the pub. We're finally there. Been talking about this for 18 months. My friend Andy Cam was on Plumbers in the Pub a couple of Christmases ago. So my name is Tommy Leachmuder, and this is a new boiler business built to last internet show. What is an internet show? An internet show is not bound by any rules whatsoever. We're going to do video and we're going to do podcasts. So however you want to listen or watch, we've got you covered there. What are we going to be covering in Plumbers in the Pub? All things pipe and boilers. All things pipe and boilers, okay? It's going to be a bit tongue-in-cheek. We're going to have a bit of a giggle as we go along. We're going to have guests on. We're going to speak to people within the industry, engineers, suppliers, manufacturers, the supply chain, and every nut and bolt in between. But before we get into that, this is how I want to start episode 01 and the series. I want to talk about our friend John the Plumber. Okay, we're going to talk about John, how he woke up £26,000 in debt one day, having fallen into the expansion trap. Okay, so why do you want to watch this? Why do you want to watch this? Well, it's really, really, really simple. If you are one of them people that is forever stuck in the woods, going round and round in circles, finding yourself in the same place that you was in last year, and not knowing how you're going to get yourself out of the woods, or one of them people new to self-employment that is looking at, I want to grow a business, and the only way I'm going to grow a business is by getting busier. Need to get busy. Okay, you need to watch this video, because like I said, we're going to talk about my friend John, how he woke up £26,000 in debt, having fallen into the expansion trap. Do you want to fall into the expansion trap? Stick around, watch this video. So let's have a look at what happened to John. How did he end up £26,000 in debt in what we call the expansion trap? Okay, right, well, it all starts because John is just like a lot of plumbers. Okay, he fixes this, he fixes that, he does a full central heating system, he'll do a bathroom, he'll do an outside tap, he'll have a go at an underfloor heating system. Whatever comes along, John, because he's an all-rounder plumber, he'll say yes. He relies on word of mouth. It's a very, very common thing in our industry. He's not really got marketing in place. And because he's relying on word of mouth, one summer when the work dries up, there ain't no word of mouth anymore. Things are super, super quiet. And he's skint. Super skint. But because he's super skint, he has no work coming in. He sits down and he figures out, well, hang on, what's this saying? Time is money. So although I don't have the money coming in, I've got all this time. So what does our friend John do with his time? Okay, he does a little reading. he has a little look around the internet, and this is where he finds online advertising. Through looking at these online advertising places, he sees that there's a bit of a gap in the market. Now, this is way before Boxed came along, way before fixed price boilers on a website was a popular thing. And what our friend John noticed was no one's putting a fixed price on a boiler installation, which at the time for John was way more profitable than any of the other plumbing work that he was doing. Through focusing on fixed price products and online advertising, he found that he was starting to get busy. Brilliant. He's getting busy with new customers. He's not having to rely on doing work for that property developer that always pays him late, wants to pay him in cash, don't want to pay VAT. John's not VAT registered at the moment, but this property developer ain't going to be choosing anyone that's VAT registered. He wants to keep things super cheap. So John doesn't have to serve people like this anymore. He doesn't have to do work for a friend of a friend. He's getting busy with new customers that he doesn't know. At the end of this year, he finishes the end of the year, he's installed a fair few more boilers, 25 boilers in the last 4 months alone. Compared to every other year before that, he's absolutely smashing it. So he's super happy. But he is a sole trader, still an all-round plumber. In his mind, that's how he thinks. I'm a plumber. He's driving a scruffy van, and he's just spent 500 quid on advertising. He doesn't have a website at this point. Early the following year, a friend of his says to him, "Hey, my son's looking for some work. Would you take him on?" "Yeah, sure. See, John really needs some help. He's working dead late and he could really do with some help. So yeah, he'll take this lad on and see how it goes. He's getting back super late. And when he gets back from doing the quotation, he's got to still sit down at his computer and send out the quotes. His girlfriend at the time gets made redundant. He says to her, "Hey, why don't you just help me out for a few months until you find your next job?" He fell on his feet with that one, but he took the opportunity. Another opportunity came along later on in the year. Somebody wrote a letter to him saying, "Hey, I want to get back to college and do my plumbing. Would you be able to sort me out some work experience?" John, he's got an eye for opportunity. And he says to the guy, "Yeah, sure. Why don't I train you up? Might be able to make you a qualified gas engineer." What John is doing at this point, things are moving along super fast. You know, it was literally 12 months ago, 14 months prior to this, that is a sole trader on his arse with no work coming in. 14 months later, he's got 2 trainees and somebody helping him out in the office. He's starting to build a team. And because he's building a team, he gets to focus on 5-star customer service, which is what he's always believed in. But now that he's got the extra manpower, or lady power on the keyboard, he can deliver this 5-star customer service much easier. If only. We're going to keep coming back to this word, if only, throughout this story. The following year, through sufficient training and a little bit of cash, he manages to put both these trainees through the ACS route. So he's got 2 qualified gas engineers. People may argue about the idea of a gas engineer, but as far as GasSafe says, we are gas engineers. This September, he takes on the first apprentice. He's got 2 engineers. We need more manpower. We need an apprentice to go fetch, to put down the dust sheets. So they take on the first apprentice. At this point, what you can start to see is John is off the tools now. You know, he's got 2 engineers and an apprentice. Hey, things are going super well for our friend John. But he starts to figure out, well, hang on, taking on all these people, they need money, we need more work. So he needed help with his marketing. What he actually needed was a marketing strategy. But he didn't have a marketing strategy. He had an advertising budget. The money was coming in and he was spending it. Simple as that. Okay? He thought, I need to figure this out and I'll keep throwing stuff at the wall and something will stick. And it did. Some of it did stick. His advertising budget. If only. We do this a number of times, by the way. Later on that year, things have to change. Man goes on a date. Finds out a few weeks later. Didn't plan for that. By the end of the year, he's got 5 members of staff. They've got 2 vans. He's still working from a home office. He's got a website. He spent £7,000 on advertising. But look what's happened. Within a 2-year period, 24 months, they've gone from, sole trader, 25 boilers, to small team, 125 boilers in a 2-year period. That is how fast things can turn on when marketing kicks in. They started the next year with more online advertising. That's the only thing he knew what to do. But then he starts seeing, well, hang on. What about this space at the side of the road? What about this space outside Asda? What about this space at the football ground? It went on and on and on. Wherever there was a space, because John was growing his business, growing his team, he knew that he had to get work. And in his knowledge at the time, getting your name out there was exactly that. There's a space there. We can get our name on that space with a link to the website and a phone number. It's advertising. It's not marketing. There's a difference. Into the summer, expecting child, they move to a larger family home. He goes away and gets married. And then the child was born. All in the same summer. This is where you're starting to think, things are going absolutely cushy for our friend John. He's got the staff. Moved into the house. Got married. In love. Just had a child. Happily ever after, yeah? If only. You see, he's looking at the vans and he thinks, well, one van's red or one van's silver. Can't be having that. It doesn't give the right image for our company. And money's coming in. So we'll go out and get two new vans. They weren't brand new. Paid for them cash, second hand. But they were about 3 years old. Okay, so it was a chunk of money. They hit September. And they're still getting busier and busier. So he takes on the second apprentice. 2 trainees, fully qualified engineers. Now we've got 2 apprentices. But he finds that one of the first engineers is starting to cause drama. Coming to work with attitude and issues every single day. Bringing the team down. So after a number of months, having enough of how it was dragging everybody down, John had to pull that plaster and sack the bad apple. The knee-jerk reaction to this was clearly, I've just got rid of someone. I need to replace them. But he didn't really know how to find another engineer. So he took on a newly qualified gas engineer from the ACS centre that the previous year had trained up the other two lads. This guy was fresh and green. Yes, qualified, but did not have the experience, had not been trained up doing what it is that they were doing. Nice guy, but newly qualified engineers are going to make mistakes. Again, John is growing that team. It's making mistakes as he goes. The winter period, John finds out that he's busier than ever, and he's back on the tools. He's back working late again. If only. See, John's never at home again. His wife, his newborn child, is never around. He's struggling with his workload, forever out quoting to get new work, forever out doing servicing, jumping on installs because the guys can't figure out what to do next, going back and snagging stuff because a leak has happened or the customer's not happy with XYZ. He's having to spend time with the staff, putting his arm around staff and trying to be a leader. And what comes out right down the bottom of the pile? His own family. A lot of people say, well, that John is a busy fool. I agree. Knee-jerk reaction happens again because he's forever out late and he's struggling. He takes on another engineer, but again, he doesn't put in the due diligence. He just hires who's available. It's more drama. He finds out that it's more drama at a later point, by the way. It's not something that you really put on your CV, hiring drama. Anyway, he then starts to look at what lads he has available, knowing that he's really struggling and he wants to spend some time at home. And he gives the manager's role to the most suitable person. There you go. You're now a manager. What John had actually done at this point is abdicate responsibility. The team is growing. 2 vans is not enough. Now we need a service van. A service and quoting van. 3 vehicles. But the problem is, where are you going to put 3 vehicles? So he needs more space. If only. A couple of months later, they see that this business unit, he had his eyes peeled, he had been looking for a few months, and he finds a business unit on the right side of town. Fantastic. Yeah, we can afford this. This business is going somewhere. This time next year, he says to a number of people and his team. So he takes on the unit, which is really good for his home life. Because he's got the team, and he's got the unit, and the manager, and everything is in place, he gets to go off on a 3-week holiday. He has properly made it, our friend John. Returns from the holiday, and he's introduced to a marketing expert that tells him about this new CRM/sales system. John, because he was thinking this business is going somewhere this time next year, he'd watched far too many Only Fools and Horses back in the 80s. This time next year, we are going to be a regional power. And if we're going to be a regional power, we've got to be brave and make the investments nobody else knows about. So he invested into this CRM/sales system. It took him around about 5 to 6 months after that payment to figure out he's had his pants pulled down. Now, this ain't the first time that this has happened. All the way along the last few years, he's felt as though his pants have been pulled down. Normally through marketing companies. As they start to come out of another summer, heading towards winter again, one of the good lads, hands in his notice. A larger company, a national company, have offered him a job. More money and better opportunities. He was a good lad. He was always going to move on at some point. So John wishes him well. But the thing is, he's preparing for another heating season. Another heating season where it's going to get stupid busy. See, as they hit this heating season, it's busier than any other year before. And John's finding that he's sick, busy. He's waking up every single morning and retching, feeling like he's going to be sick. There wasn't actually anything physical happening inside his stomach. It's not that he'd eaten something dodgy the day before or drank too much. It was what was happening in his mind. Too much stress, too many jobs, too many ifs. What happens about that? See, as they hit this heating season, team morale, it was awful. Everyone was busy. Everybody's making more money. Everybody's getting lots of hours. But the stress, arguably, just wasn't worth it. And to top it off, John found out, hang on, he's paying the staff more money than what they were taking themselves. But it's John's business. John's the one that's going to get the reward, surely. This time next year, just needs to knuckle down. But he's paying the staff more money than what he's paying himself. If only. See, this particular quarter was the biggest quarter ever. They did an insane amount of work. A lot of money came in. But after it, when he sat down and started to do some financials, there was no profit. Where was all the money going? And then one morning, quite normal, at the end of the month, he'd do his financials. And he thought to himself as he went to bed, I'm not making any money. But when he woke up the next day, something hit his heart as he remembered, shit, I've not paid the staff. When he'd done his calculation before he went to bed, and he slept okay that night, he'd done his calculation, but he'd forgot about all that money that he's not paid the staff yet. So that actually means what's in the bank account and what's going to go to the staff and what's going to go to the merchants and what we've got put to one side for the taxman. He's losing money. He's £26,000 in debt after coming out of the busiest quarter that they've ever had. The highest turnover. He's losing money. This is what we call the expansion trap. What is the expansion trap? Well, the expansion trap is what a lot of businesses fall into. Some get out, some don't. some businesses ultimately will fail or go backwards. What is it? It's building too fast. It's a lack of systems because they've built too fast. They didn't have the time to put the systems in place. They've got bloated overheads. A big reason why they've got bloated overheads is because they've got a bloated team. Because they've got a bloated team and they have to keep everybody happy, keep everybody in work, keep paying everybody, keep everybody busy, they find out they're trading on price. Because they're trading on price, they're too busy. It's a vicious circle. Because they're too busy, they don't have time to build the systems. They don't have time to build the marketing. And here's the odd one. They're so busy and there's not enough profit. If they don't have the profit, they can't afford to pay other people to build the systems. They can't afford to pay other people to do the marketing for them. They're stuck. So this is the expansion trap. Our friend John, did he build a business that would last? The answer is no. He'd not built a business to last. He built the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So that's our friend John the Plumber. My question to you, who's listening, wherever you're listening, you're in the garden, you're in the van, wherever you're listening to this right now, I just want to stop for a moment and say, what's your story? Where are you on John's level? Are you at the start of John's story there? Are you in the middle of it? Everything's really good, absolutely flying? Or are you towards the end and you're kind of wishing you'd have made better choices? Or have you been through John's story and you've come out the other side and you're looking back at and listening to John's story and looking back at what you've gone through and nodding your head going, yeah, I've been there, I've done that. I don't want to go back again. We hear this story time and time again when we're speaking to people. You only have to look on the Facebook groups to see that there's people that have been there and done that. And you can see the people that are in the middle of it and things are flying at the moment. And you can see the people that are right at the start wanting, wishing, hoping that they're going to grow a business and get busy. Okay, but not understanding what it is that they've got to do to be successful. So here's a question. Looking back at John's story there, is your business built to last? My name's Tommy Lee Schmuder. I was a plumber back in 2011, 2012, and I built a dedicated boiler installation business. My question to you is, what is success? What makes you successful? In John's time, that 5-year period, I helped 12 people to qualify, normally via ACS route or via college. We employed 9 members of staff. We installed a hell of a lot of boilers. I turned over 1.5 million. But if you can see, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see this at the moment. So do go and check out the video that will go with this. We'll drop a link wherever you've seen this podcast. This is me on my birthday, 2018. My wife had taken me to Rome, and it's not a happy picture. I do not look happy. I'm tired and stressed. You see, this John story, it's pretty close to my story. Pretty close. But my story is pretty close to a lot of people's story. But that was me waking up in the morning, feeling the morning nerves, dreading going to work as I put on my Snickers trousers. That was me. That became so unfit that I could barely talk to a customer through a home survey. A number of times I had to sit down and take a breath, and the customer would get me a glass of water. I was so unfit because I wasn't looking after myself. I was just busy and trying to keep everybody else happy. That was me that felt ripped off. Left, right and centre. Felt ripped off. Normally by marketing companies, but there were other sharks out there. That was me that was paying the staff more money than what I was paying myself. It's a common thing. Particularly when you start to look at what we call the staff cost stacker. That'll be a different video another day. That was me that woke up in debt and feeling trapped by my own business. So let's bring it up a level. Only knowledge gives you choices. The reason why we're doing this this internet show, okay, and the internet show is going to be part knowledge sharing, but also looking. Let's come away from that screen. Okay, let's come to this screen. Part knowledge sharing, part looking at the industry and all the news and stuff that's happening in the industry. But in this show, I just wanted to say, let's have a look at the expansion trap and let's see how many people are on John's story. In our training, we use this quite a lot. Only knowledge gives you choices. If you arm yourself with the knowledge, you can look at the paths in front of you and make a choice. But knowledge is very useful, but without implementing it, you're just going to be frustrated that it's in your head. So we're all up for peer-to-peer accountability. If only. So if only John, coming back to our story about John, if only John had essential data in his business. Data, yeah. He'd be able to look and see things, see patterns that are happening every year. And he'd be able to make better judgments. If he used his time better, rather than focusing on the everyday, John should have focused on investing some time into what's coming in the future. But he didn't know any better. If John had invested his money a little bit wiser, and this is a big one, if John had focused on 5-star customers, notice 5-star customers, not focusing on more customers. That's what he did. He focused on more customers, not his 5-star customers. If John had focused on a marketing strategy and understood what marketing strategy was, if he'd have understood how to use social media, the real reason why we should be using social media, rather than using social media just to sell. This is a big one. If John had focused on business systems, building systems, now to be fair, to get to the level that he got, he did have some systems. But he didn't put enough time into making his business more efficient. All his time was focused on getting more work, not improving the work that they was doing. If John had been brave enough to sack the loose cannons at an earlier point. And if John had focused on profit first, there's a book, Mike Mikowicz. It's up there behind them banners. Okay, Mike Mikowicz, the book Profit First, it's one of the 3 books that we always talk about. It's a great starting point for anybody that's getting into business development. So finally, on that, because that's been over a 30-minute episode 101. My question to you is your business built to last? Or have you built trying to come to the right screen here, or have you built the Leaning Tower of Pisa? Okay, my name's Tommy Lee Schmuder. This is the Boiler Business Built to Last episode 01. It's going to be going out as video and podcast in the near future. Hope you found that an eye-opener. That's often what people say. That's an eye-opener. I hope you found it an eye-opener. Please drop a comment wherever you're watching this or listening to this. Drop a comment. Where are you on John's story? Are you at the start, in the middle, at the end? Or have you been through John's story and fully understand what we're talking about here?
So you think your boiler's had it? I'll fetch the 2 bags from the van. If you want the best, don't ask questions, 'cause brother, I'm your man. What it'll cost, well, that's a mystery. Until I take off the cover, who knows what I'm gonna see. These are the jobs that driving me berserk. Why do only fools and plumbers work? La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la, yeah. Why do only fools and plumbers work?